As we wrap up our project here on Boathouse Row in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we just want to remind you that whether you're looking for a ductless project for a home, office, commercial, residential, a Mitsubishi ductless system can handle it all.
Our goal was to maintain the integrity of this historic building while providing a new, efficient system to keep the rowers cool during the hot Philly summers. We did this by replacing all the indoor units with new Mitsubishi ductless air handlers. We then ran shorter line sets to the outdoor units to ensure each room would receive proper cooling. Next, we moved the outdoor units to the opposite side of the building and mounted them up high to keep them out of the way in the event of future flooding. The variable speed compressors in these new units will provide more precise cooling and keep both the members and their guests more comfortable. Finally, we painted the previously white line hide to match the blue paint on the walls. This little touch will help them blend in better so that visitors can focus on the memorabilia, trophies, and paintings that keep history front and center.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of ECI's YouTube channel. If you liked what you saw, would like to follow up with this project or see our projects in the future, please click to like, subscribe, and follow our channel. See you soon.